see what 2.5 pounds looks like in that shape in terms of volume. So, and if you have questions as I do this, let me know. Just shout them out. But again, you want to think about this ball. The ball has to be wide enough to support the diameter of the foot you're intending to have on this piece.
What are some other ways of making the shape not symmetrical?
You can facet it. That's a great way to do it. What I'll do, I'll be happy to show you guys different ways of doing that. But again, that's cosmetic. And if that's where you want to go, that's where I want you to go. But not until you're really comfortable throwing the basic shape. Okay. Once you've got this dynamic down, remember that that floor doesn't open up flat. It's just right up, okay? And keep that lip compressed. Don't let that lip become weak or take off that extra flare there so you can get up underneath. Use only enough water to eliminate the friction. Pull through that thicker, stiffer clay at the base firmly. Pull right up into the lip. I always take off extra moisture, even though I'm going to put moisture right back on, but I don't want to leave, even for a few seconds, I don't want to leave water on the surface to be soaking in. I'm going to establish this physical identity of the lip now. I'll have to come back at the very end and touch that up, but I want to establish that now. So I use my leather to do that. That was 2 passes. Up into the lip, hold it for a couple of revolutions, gently release, and compress. Okay, this is still a little, I can thin this out a little bit more. As straight a diagonal as you can. Now, I could get away with leaving the wall this thickness. It's thin enough, but I'm going to push this out and the wall's going to become even thinner. So first I'm going to, and this is also cosmetic. This is my aesthetic choices to minimize those throw marks on the outside. That is not a requirement. If you like those throw marks, or you've got a glaze that you love the way it falls over those throw marks or accentuates it, then fine, leave the throw marks, okay? I used to leave them all the time. I used to think that potters that took the throw marks off were lightweights. So you can paint on the surface, right? Well, then I realized that painting on the surface wasn't a real bad idea. You know, there's a lot you could do with that. So now I take my throw marks off all the time. Okay, so now I'm going to wet the outside because I'm going to drop it, dry the inside. I'm going to drop that curve into the wall. So I take out the water on the inside. Always support it. I support it with my left hand. I'm comfortable, okay? I'm settled in. It's almost like, you know, it's like you're a couch potato. You got your Fritos in the one hand, you got your remote in the other, and you're just sitting there. But you got to get that comfortable, right? And you're settled into yourself. You got to support this, and you break the wrist joint, okay? And push that wall with the rib out into your left hand, and then just you're firm, real steady, pushing down into the center. And you go all the way to the very center, okay? So that contour is flawless on the inside. You'll see a lot of people, a lot of bowls come out, and Ellen Shanken, or is it, no, it's, what's her name? She's from Iowa. She wrote one of our books. She calls it the beginner's hump, where the floor of the pot comes, you know, it starts coming up and then it humps over and then the wall comes up like that. And that is, the only way to get rid of that really is to come down from the top and push through it, okay? And okay, so we're going to go down further. We're going to open this up quite a bit more. And this wall is going to get quite thin. And I'm going to go a little bit more aggressively with it. The more you do this, the more that wall is going to want to start shimmying on you. Okay? But you can see this is a much larger bowl than that, an extra half pound. Now the walls, to be fair, the walls on this one are thinner than the walls on that one, so I've got more volume just through wall thickness. And I mean, if I want, I could do, now for all intents and purposes, this is wasted space if I flare that lip. It won't hold anything, okay? But, and I'm supporting it underneath. This is just another way to make a lip, okay? And if I wanted to, I could accent that, take the butt of my needle, support it on the outside, and do a little line, size line, and what's that?
The bowl over there that has the indentation in the outside of the lip, is that what
The
Right.
salsa bowl? Or no?
No.
Oh, that's a double lip. That was thrown, that double lip, great question. That double lip is established right at the very beginning. Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, I'm not a big, I do some bowls with flared lips, mostly now larger bowls, big serving bowls, because, if you've got a bowl this big, that flared lip can act like a handle. It can stabilize you as you handle the bowl. But I want to fill out this belly more, so I'm not really widening the top, but I'm realizing that for this bowl with the flared lip, I need a fuller belly on the bowl, okay? So
Are you pushing gently when you go down like that?
I'm pushing firmly enough to get it to move.
Like, how do you not lose all that stuff when you push it?
How do I not lose it?
Yeah, because isn't it scraped on the side?
No, I'm using I'm not digging into it. I've got it positioned so that the rib is positioned so that the clay pushes against it. So it's not coming in and cutting, it's away. Okay? So that's basically it. And this is a much larger bowl. This would be a serving bowl for something. If you had that special person over for dinner and you had enough, you could put enough mashed potatoes for 2 in there. Okay? Well, this is America. Let's not forget where we are. So, and here's, and this is the detail stuff. I'm just going to come back in and just make sure that that lip is nicely finished. Everything intentional. I want to do as little correction and modification and finishing as possible, you know, in the trimming stage when it comes off the wheel. So it's important that, you know, the character of that incised line, this, the flare, the flatness, the planar quality of that flared lip, the roll of the lip at the edge of the lip, very important that all that is finished before this thing comes off the wheel. Okay? Okay. Just a little bevel in there just to facilitate getting the, you know, cutting it off. And it gets rid of excess clay when I trim it.